Hey, if you're looking to change the Cutterhead on your Dewalt 734 thickness planer, then you've landed on the right video. Today, we'll be going over step by step how you can do this replacement in your own home, or preferably a workshop. First, we're going to need some tools. You're going to need a pair of gloves, the Torx wrench that came with the planer, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 15/16 inch shallow socket plus a torque wrench, snap ring pliers, bushings or a wood block, and 3mm, 4mm, and 5mm hex keys. Alright, let's get started with the disassembly. Cue the music. Start by taking the Torx wrench that came with the planer and begin unscrewing the screws from the elevation handle and the top cover. Next, remove the dust chute by using a good old Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 3 screws securing it. Then, using the same Torx wrench as earlier, remove the dust cover, exposing the cutter head. Then, reattach the elevation handle. It may be helpful to raise the planer to the max height before moving on to the next steps. Then, flip the machine over to see the underside of it. Using an Allen key, loosen the screws securing the sprockets on both sides, then remove the chain completely. Next, using a Phillips head bit, or if your screwdriver is small enough, begin unscrewing the screws from both sides of the gearbox cover. Then, using your amazing raw strength, or Torx wrench, remove the bolts and plate that secure the base of the lead screw and repeat for both lead screws. Then, start unscrewing both lead screws to detach them from the machine. By the cutter head itself, there are 2 screws to secure the locking lever and the locking spring. Remove them carefully using a Phillips head screwdriver. Then, remove the screws that secure the 3 blades on the cutter head, and then using the magnets on the back of the Torx wrench, pull out both the blades and the blade covers on all 3 sides. Then take any long and solid object and wedge it in between the motor and the cutter block. This will allow you to remove the bolt securing the pulley without the cutter block moving. Flip the machine on its side so that the pulley is facing upwards. Now it's time for the hardest part of the installation. Using 2 fingers and a thumb, begin walking the drive belt off the pulley. I found that pulling upwards and backwards towards yourself works best. This may take some time, but of course, take all the time you need. Once the drive belt is off, simply slide the pulley off and remove the little steel piece that sits in the shaft and make absolute certain to not lose it. Now, using snap ring pliers, remove the snap ring in front of the bearing. Flip the machine over to the other side and begin removing the smaller snap rings in front of the sprockets. Now these ones are a little bit tricky, and make sure not to stretch them too much as to not damage them. It may be helpful to take a picture of the sprockets and chains before removing them from their shafts. Once the chains are off, remove the last snap ring from in front of the bearing. Finally, you can start to remove your old cutter head. Start by flipping the machine back over to the side where the drive belt was. Then, using a bushing or just a wooden block, begin hammering out the cutter head. If done right, the cutter head should slip out just like butter. Now comes the time to insert your new and amazing spiral cutter head. All of our cutter heads, like the one in the video, come with their own bearings, so it isn't really necessary to remove them from your old cutter head. The installation process is pretty much just the inverse of the removal process. We're going to put the new cutter head back into the same hole we pulled the old one from, and then we're going to hammer it into position. From now on, it's just the steps we took to get here, but in reverse. But before continuing, if you wish to clean your planer as well, now would be the time to do so. The only new step in the installation process is inserting the carbide inserts into your new cutter head. Once you've finished reinstalling the pulleys and the sprockets on either side of the cutter head, begin taking the carbide inserts and the Torx wrench that came with the cutter head itself and screw the inserts in one by one. Make sure that you screw each carbide insert the same amount as to ensure they all have the same height. Also ensure that the alignment is correct, as you don't want any lines in your wood when you actually use the planer. Just a tip, you want to screw them in hard, but not to the max. Screwing them in to the max has a chance of shattering them when you actually start using them. Once done with all the spirals of your new cutter head, proceed with the installation in reverse order to finish the cutter head replacement. Congratulations! You've just installed your brand new spiral cutter head. Woo! If you found this video helpful, make sure to check out our other ones for more installation tutorials.